Hey guys, Scott from therecordingsolution.com. Today I want to talk about getting a rap vocal to sit over a track, like a stereo track. So say my buddy King Tonyo, his name's Tony, but he goes by King Tonyo. Great rapper out of San Antonio, Texas. I can't say enough good things about this guy. I'll post a link here on the video where you can check out his music. But this is his song called Type Away. And so they gave me these raw tracks. It was a bunch of vocals and then the stereo music track. So here's what the music track has. All right. So I know we're talking about vocals, but I want to show you what I did on the track. So because I'm going to EQ the vocals over the track while it's playing to get it to sit. So let's look at the track first. So this is the virtual mix rack from Slate Digital. This is just their emulation of the virtual channel, virtual consoles emulations. So this is set to the Brit 4KE, just giving me some like analog feel. And this is just your an EQ and a compressor, and then like a sonic lift, sonic enhancer on the high end and low end. So you can use any EQ, any compressor. These are just the ones I'm using. Don't think you have to have this virtual mix rack to do what I'm doing. These are just very good EQs and compressors, but you can also do it with stock plugins with Pro Tools or whatever DAW you're using. So let's take these off. I want you to hear what I'm doing to the track. It's in solo. Let's turn this off. That's compressor, distortion, a couple other plugins after this, and I'll show you those too. So here's the track by itself. So this just kind of gives it a warm feel just running through the circuitry. And then I added a little bit, like a 3 dB boost shelf. It's a shelf. If it was a bell, I'd click that, but it's a shelf, a high frequency shelf at around 8K. Just kind of lifted the hi-hats up and gave me a little bit of air. I left the high mid frequencies alone. I left the low mid frequencies alone. And then I gave me a good healthy boost at like 7 dB, around 50 hertz. Now that's kind of dramatic moves there, but I'm very an advocate of subtractive EQ. But if you think about what I'm doing here, I'm kind of it's kind of like making a U. So it's boosting the low end and boosting a little bit of the high end, and so you got this mid-range frequencies kind of left alone. And so what I'm going to do is try to mix those vocals to sit in that pocket of the EQ, because I don't want the frequencies of the vocal to overlap the frequencies of this track, because then it's going to compete with each other, and you get things called comb filtering and phase cancellation, and that's why you can't hear a lot of things when people are EQing. They not EQing properly. You got to carve out pockets. That's the whole point. That's how you get things to sit with each other and track after track after track. So it's good to EQ with everything in. So I started with this track and then I moved to the vocals. I wanted to get the track sounding really good and then mix the vocals over it. You can do it back, or you can get the vocals sounding good first and then EQ the track to sit around the vocals. It doesn't matter, however you prefer, but this is the way I do it right here. And then I added some compression. Here, let me play the EQ. I'm gonna push play, and then I'm gonna push this button, you'll see it light up. That means this is on. Then I'll push this button, you'll see it light up, and that means the compressor's on. And then I'll push this button, and this will light up. That means this high lift and low lift is on. Now I know I'm lifting even more here on the high and low ends, okay? So just think about that U shape I'm creating. So here we go. Now I know that got quieter because I have this output turned down, but that's because I'm setting up my gain structure. I didn't want to overdrive this limiter that I set up. So what this is going to do is going to put that track in your face and you'll hear it. I'm going to push play and then I'll kick this thing on. All right, so if I bypass, look at the volume here of the track. When I click this on, it sounds louder, but doesn't really get that much louder. So don't let that fool you on some plugins where you slap something on, put a preset on, and then it just sounds amazing. Well, a lot of times it's just because it's louder, and we perceive louder as better. So be sure to check the levels before you turn the plugin on, and then the levels after, just to make sure you're not fooling your ears and what you're doing to these knobs and just making it louder, and you really didn't even do anything to the audio. So I'm gonna push play, you're gonna see the levels, and I'll kick this on. It's gonna sound louder, but it's not gonna get that much louder. So I made up for that volume that I turned down here. I didn't want to overdrive that limiter plugin. So that's why I brought the volume down right here. So we're starting at a healthy volume on this plugin. And then I added some distortion. Let me go back to the other screen. So this is very subtle. You might not be able to hear it, but it just added, I like adding little bits of distortion to things just to add a little bite, just something. You're only 16% in the mix. So I'm going to play it and then kick this on. Nothing crazy, but it adds a little something. And then I added this stereo width plugin. So right now it's off, and then I'll kick it on and you'll hear what it does. So that just kind of made it spread out in your stereo field. Just trying to make the track sound big. So I wanted to show you the track and the EQ moves I did. Remember that U-shape kind of EQ moves I was doing for the vocal. So let me bring in this lead vocal. And let's play that together. I'll start you back over here. You're going to hear this singing vocal right here, but I want you to pay attention to this one. Right now, here's the lead vocal. I gotta move on. Late night, my feelings just type away.
The shit I be on got me feeling some type of way. The shit I be on got me feeling like running away. But I can't give up on them, no, not today. No, I can't give up on none of my dreams. She said she in love with me, but I got no love for these women. They say money in life brings the finer things. They say when you young you don't understand. Instead of you judging accomplishments, instead of us arguing about stupid shit.
So, sounds pretty good to me. So here's what I did to the vocal. Another virtual mix track. Ran it through the virtual channel console. And then, first thing I did was roll off some low end, so a high pass filter. And if you don't know what a high pass filter is, it's rolling off, so the track has that kick and that low end, and that's occupying probably anywhere from 0 to 100. So the vocal doesn't need to have that space down there. So I want to roll it off 100 to 150 just to clean that low end up so that bottom of that music track can be heard and it's not competing with each other. When we talked about overlapping frequencies, we don't need that vocal. And then I did roll off some top end, super high top end. like super high, 17 kilohertz. Now, you might hear a lot about, well, what about, I see all these people boosting high end. I learned this from Chris Lord Alge, this kind of technique, and it's actually new to me, but I use it on this track, and it seems to be working very well. Because if you're thinking about getting that vocal to sit in that pocket of that U that we created on the track, well, you're rolling off some low end that you're not even really hearing, and some high end that is pretty hard to hear as well, but you're not going, I'm at 16 kilohertz. That's super high end. So we're just getting rid of those frequencies you probably can't even really hear, but knocking them off. And then around 10K, which is still not even close, you're still in the range of what you can hear in the high end, I gave it a little presence at 10K. So 10K at about a 1.8 dB boost, nothing crazy. And I want to give it a little bite at 2K, because from like 1 to 3K-ish, 4K-ish, that's where your vocal has the energy. And if you can boost there, but you got to be careful, it kind of can be harsh. So be careful, don't go too crazy. So I gave it just a little bump, 3 dBs at 2K. Left the low mids alone, and I left the, looks like I got a big boost at 100, trying to fatten up that vocal. Now that's extreme moves, and again, I'm learning this from Chris Lord Alge, so I wanted to use it on the rap song, and I think it worked very well. If it sounds good, use it, all right? I hear all the time, if it looks weird, so people don't do it. Use your ears. So I played around and boosted this until I thought it sounded fat. And then here again, what I have to work with on this EQ, I'm boosting some high end, which is the high end I have left after rolling the soft. And then I boosted this even more low end just to fatten up that vocal. I want a thick vocal. This is, you can get like a sonic enhancer. I know if you get this virtual mix rack, they even give you a free one down here called Revival, and it's got the same kind of thing. It's got like a sonic enhancer, a high end and low end, and that one's free if you don't have one. And then this is just a compressor. So let me solo the vocal, and then we'll go through each one and listen to it. So turn this off. It's a preamp emulation. Very subtle what it did there, but I like the way it kind of thickened it up even more. So let's do the console collection. Get where you can hear the vocal. Highlight that.
The shit I be on got me feeling some type of way. The shit I be on got me feeling like running away. But I can't give up on them, no, not today. No, I can't give up on none of my dreams. She said she in love with me, but I got no love for these women. They say
These delays off and slaps.
the shit I be on got me feeling some type of way.
Here's the dry vocal, in case you're wondering what it sounded like.
The shit I be on got me feeling some type of way. The shit I be on got me feeling like running away. But I can't give up on them, no, not today. No, I can't give up on none of my dreams. She said she in love with me. But
all right. So that's a raw, dry vocal that you have to try to get to sit with the track. So that's a lot of times, if you're mixing a rap song, that's what you're going to be given. So how do you make it sound like it is part of the song? So this is what we're doing. And then let me kick on the EQ.
the shit I be on got me feeling some type of way. The shit I be on got me feeling like running away. But I can't give up on them, no, not today.
So if you notice the EQ moves I was talking about, I boosted a little bit of the mid-ranges here. And so that's sitting in that pocket of the U-shape because I didn't boost any mid-range in the track. So we're still hanging out in a space that's available for us. And then I'm boosting the high end here, but it's still on the range of the vocal that I rolled off. So we're not at the super high end level. We're just boosting what's left of the high end of that vocal, if that makes sense. So let me turn that on.
The shit I be on got me feeling some type of way. The shit I be on got me feeling like running away. But I can't give up on them, no, not today.
All right, more presence. Oops. And then here's the compressor. I'm going to play it and then kick it on.
The shit I be on got me feeling some type of way. The shit I be on got me feeling like running away. But I can't give up on them, no, not today. No, I can't give up on none of my dreams. She said she in love with me. But
now, I know that sounds like I'm squashing it. I'm taking some volume off, but we're making it up elsewhere. So I'm just taming everything. I got to super slow attack, super fast release. Oh no, that's a slow attack. Sorry, fast release. Just getting that vocal to sit right in your face. 4-to-1 ratio.
The shit I be on got me feeling some type of way. The shit I be on got me feeling like running away. But I can't give up on them, no, not today.
And then here's the preamp emulation, just to give it a little bit more beef.
The shit I be on got me feeling some type of way. The shit I be on got me feeling like running away. But I can't give up on them, no, not today.
Now that's not a crazy difference, so if you didn't have that, it's okay. So far, look, we have the virtual channel. If you don't have that, it's fine too. It's very subtle. But the EQ, sonic enhancers, and compressors we all have. So you can use those, use these techniques. And then I made up the gain that I knocked off on this compressor. On this, it's just a trimmer. I know Pro Tools comes with a stock trim plugin that you can add or take away volume. So let me turn that on.
The shit I be on got me feeling some type of way. The shit I be on got me feeling like running away. But I can't give up on them, no, not today.
All right. So I just made up the volume. And then I ran it through a tape machine just to give me a little analog fill. If you don't have a tape machine, maybe try running it through some saturation plugins that try to emulate tape machines, just give it a little more analog fill. So let me turn that on.
The shit I be on got me feeling some type of way. The shit I be on got me feeling like running away. But I can't give up on them, no, not today.
All right, let's play that on the track.
The shit I be on got me feeling some type of way. The shit I be on got me feeling like running away. But I can't give up on them, no, not today. No, I can't give up on none of my dreams.
All right, so the EQs, that's the main thing you're trying to worry about, is not have these EQs of the track fight with the EQs of your vocal. So let me turn that off. Main track. So this one has a high-end shelf. So that's starting at 8 and going all the way up, all the way, as far as it goes, and it's boosting it. And then when I roll off up to 16K, I'm not competing with this music track on this vocal right here because I'm rolling it off. So you're gonna hear the air on the track. And then I have a boost at 50 here. Well, I'm rolling everything off at almost 150. So I'm not even worried about competing with the low end of this track. And then I boost a little bit at 10K, and you might have a little bit of overlap there, but it's nothing major. Use your ears. If you hear things getting muddy up or disappearing, then maybe adjust that, but just give a little presence at 10K, not even a lot, just 1 dB boost. And then where the mid-range is, where there's nothing here in this mid-range, I'm boosting 3 dB at 2K, giving a little bite. So it's making that vocal stick out in the mix so you can hear it. And then just standard compression and getting the vocal to sit in your face. So that's how you're hearing that vocal so clearly. And then we need to talk about effects. So how do you get things to sit in the track with effects? So you can use delays or reverbs. Reverbs add space and width, and delays, same thing. But you got to think about, okay, how wet do you want your vocal to sound? Because the more reverb you push on the vocal, it's going to sit it back in the track. But I know a lot of rap songs, they want that vocal right in your face because the main part of the most important part of the track, of a rap track, in my opinion, is the vocal. You got to hear the words. It's all about the lyrics. So first, I set up a slap track. So I created an auxiliary track. So I did Command N, created a mono auxiliary track, and then I created a stereo auxiliary, 2 stereo auxiliaries. So 1 mono and 2 stereo auxiliary tracks. On the slap track, we're putting a 166 milliseconds delay. And again, I'm using this from Chris Lord Alge, who is famous for a mixer for like rock bands, biggest rock bands for over 30 years up till now, and huge artists. And so I was trying to emulate this effects and vocal technique and mixing technique on a rap song. I think it turned out very well. So he uses a 166 millisecond delay, slap delay. Just went to the preset slap and set that at 33%, full wet. And then I put a tape machine on there to try to emulate an analog slap. And then if you look at the lead vocal, I just sent a little bit of the lead vocal to this track. So let's see what that sounds like. So let's solo that.
The shit I be on got me feeling some type of way. The shit I be on got me feeling like running away. But I can't give up on them, no, not today. No, I can't give up on none of my dreams. She said she in love with me, but I got no.
So let's see what that does with the track.
The shit I be on got me feeling some type of way. The shit I be on got me feeling like running away. But I can't give up on them, no, not today. No, I can't give up on none of my dreams. She said she in love with me.
So it's a very subtle move, but it kind of sets the vocal, makes it feel like it's recorded with that track a little bit. So you're kind of having that little delay going up the mono in the back kind of sets that vocal right in a little pocket. So that's the first move. And then I want some width, so we're going to use delay for the width. So we set up a quarter note delay. So yeah, whole half quarter. So I clicked the quarter. It gave me the measurement when I clicked it. It was in sync. And then so I dropped whatever the measurement, so 47, 48, 49, 50, 51, 52. So it was 952, and I dropped it 5 milliseconds. And then from 952, I raised it 5 milliseconds. So you have a 10 millisecond difference between the left and the right, and it adds this really cool wide stereo delay effect. So let me show you what that sounds like. Let me mute this track, turn on the stereo delay, solo the vocal, and let's see what that does.
The shit I be on got me feeling some type of way. The shit I be on got me feeling like running away. But I can't give up on them, no, not today. No, I can't give up on none of my dreams. She said she in love with me, but I got no love for these women. They say
Together?
the shit I be on got me feeling some type of way. The shit I be on got me feeling like running away. But I can't give up on them, no, not today.
Track.
The shit I be on got me feeling some type of way. The shit I be on got me feeling like running away. But I can't give up on them, no, not today. No, I can't give up on none of my dreams. She said she in love with me, but I got no.
Now, you could put some verb on there, but again, are you going for a wet sound, or are you going for a dry, in-your-face sound and just use the delays to add you some width and a little bit of depth? Because if you put the verb on there, it's going to push it back. So delays are a good way to add space and a little bit of depth, but not wash out the vocal. And I can put a verb on here, but you got to do something very deliberate, which I'll show you. And I had verb on there, but I was kind of just thinking it was not as in my face as I wanted it. And you could go either way with the sound I got, but I made a subjective decision and I took the verb off. But let me play the song or the vocal with the verb on it, and then I'll show you what the verb is.
The shit I be on got me feeling some type of way. The shit I be on got me feeling like running away. But I can't give up on them, no, not today. No, I can't give up on none of my dreams. She said she in love with me, but I got no love for these. But I got no love for these. They say money, love, they say money, love, they say money, love, they say money, love, they say money, love. The shit I be on got me.
Sorry about that. I was on the wrong send. So here we go. I was trying to turn the verb up and turn the delay up. Here we go.
The shit I be on got me feeling some type of way. The shit I be on got me feeling like running away. But I can't give up on them, no, not today. No, I can't give up on none of my dreams.
All right. So I just wanted to show you what that was. The verb, you can use any verb. I'm using this one that came with Slate Digital stuff, but it's just a plate. You can use a room plate. But the thing is, you got to set a very high pre-delay at 152 milliseconds. That's pretty high. A lot of times you can set it. I've seen a healthy range of like 21 milliseconds. That's even kind of high, but this is very high. But what a pre-delay does is you hear the vocal, and then you got a delay before you hear the reverb. And so setting that time sets how long that delay is between the actual dry vocal and then when you hear the reverb. And it's milliseconds, so very quick. But what that does, if you set a pre-delay kind of high, it lets that vocal come through, and then you hear the reverb. So it's kind of delay on the reverb, so that reverb doesn't wash out the vocals. That's a good way to use a reverb on a rap track, but still keep the vocal up front, because it's not. A lot of times, if you don't use a pre-delay, you're just gonna hear the vocal and the reverb is connected right when the vocal ends. It's just like one unit. But this pre-delay kind of separates it into the vocal and then the reverb, if that makes sense. So you're adding a little space for that vocal to cut through before you hear that reverb. So let's play that in the track.
The shit I be on got me feeling some type of way. The shit I be on got me feeling like running away. But I can't give up on them, no, not today. No, I can't give up on none of my dreams. She said she in love with me, but I got no love for these women.
So it's very subtle. But let me play the slap track and the quarter note all together and see what it sounds like in the mix.
The shit I be on got me feeling some type of way. The shit I be on got me feeling like running away. But I can't give up on them, no, not today. No, I can't give up on none of my dreams. She said she in love with me, but I got no love for these women.
Alright, so I think it's kind of, now it's got a space within the music. It made it sound like it was in the music. So let me kick all these off and play the dry vocal, and then I'll kick them on.
The shit I be on got me feeling some type of way. The shit I be on got me feeling like running away. But I can't give up on them, no, not today. No, I can't give up on none of my dreams. She said she in love with me, but I got no love for these women.
So let me turn off the reverb, make it sound even more in your face.
The shit I be on got me feeling some type of way. The shit I be on got me feeling like running away. But I can't give up on them, no, not today. No, I can't give up on none of my dreams. She said she in love with me, but I got no love for these women.
So I like the reverb off, like I said. That's a subjective move. If you want a more washed out sound, then by all means go to town with some reverb. Now you don't have to use this reverb, and you don't have to use these exact delay settings, but these are just some go-to moves. And I have been using slap before, a lot, before I watched the tutorial recently from a very famous mixer. And I have used quarter note delays, 16th note delays. So play around with the sound you're trying to get. Just know that you can use delays and reverbs to make that track sit more in the mix. So that's how I approach this song, this rap song, with the EQ on the vocal and the track. It's going to be different song to song. Not every song has the same frequencies, same sonic qualities as this song, but the concepts are the same. And I even use those concepts when I mix country or rock. And so I try to tell people that. But when you think about, when you got someone who likes rap and someone who likes country, you're like, oh, it's totally different genres, but the concepts are the same. I'm doing these same kind of mixing moves in a country or a rock song, excuse me. You're just carving out spots. You're making a deliberate decision with what EQ you're using on one track, and then you're playing the vocal, for instance, over the music track, and then you're EQing the vocal while the music track is playing, so you can carve out these spots and get it to sound clear and not fight with each other. So that's, always think about that. Always think about, you can't be boosting one track at 2K and then boosting another track at 2K and then boosting another track at 2K. They're going to compete with each other. It's going to become harsh. Some things are going to cancel each other out. It's going to be a big mess, okay? Hope you learned something. If you have any questions, email me, scott@therecordingsolution.com. Comment below this video, subscribe, head on over to the website, therecordingsolution.com, and pick up a free ebook. I'll tell you how to set up your home studio, and then you'll get on the mailing list, and you get a bunch of free tutorials like this on all genres of music. I'm constantly putting out something every week, so go over to the site or click the link on the video today. And again, this artist was King Tonyo. He's a rapper out of San Antonio, Texas. Check him up on SoundCloud, Facebook, Twitter. I'll put some links on this video. Thanks for watching. Scott from therecordingsolution.com. See you next time.